Man. Things for Kovalev just keep getting worse. Right now, Kovalev is facing a trial date on January 6, 2020. He's currently in the process of being sued for $8 million and standing criminal charges. Pretty much the story behind it is, and he's not guilty yet. Once it goes to trial, we'll see what happens, but it keeps getting postponed. Is he tried to hit on this female named Jamie Franz, and she denied his advances. So he got pissed off, followed her to her cabin with a friend, and beat her up. That's the story that she's going with. She had severe injuries, dislocated disc in her neck, among other injuries, and he's facing that on January 6th, as I said. Also, to get to the other point of this boo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo video, let me guess, whenever he loses that court case, he's going to boo-hoo-hoo too. Come up with an excuse of, oh, well, I only slapped her once. I shouldn't say that because he's not guilty yet. But I digress. Let me get to the other point of this video. So Kovalev claims that he didn't have enough time to recover. 2 months was not enough time to recover. He couldn't find it in himself to get over the yard fight, and he needed more time to recover because he's never taken short breaks in between fights. This is the first time this has ever happened. It's not like he wasn't an amateur. It's not like in the amateurs that you could literally fight 5 to 7 times in a week. It's not like in the amateurs you could go to a tournament and fight several times in a day over, say, a week to 2 week course, depending on the tournament. It's not like he's been through that. It's not like that when he first went pro, he was fighting with short breaks. But if you don't believe me, let's get into it. So, Kovalev's first fight was on July 25th, 2009. His second fight was on August 8th, 2009. If you do the math, which I'm a little good at doing math, that's only a 14-day break, aka 2 weeks. But wait, it gets better. So his second fight was on August 8th, 2009. His third fight was on August 29th, 2009. That's a 21-day break. Not even a month. But wait, Tony's reviews. Obviously, he had a 2-week break, then a 3-week break, so the breaks are getting longer. Well, let's go to his next fight. His third fight was on August 29th, 2009. His fourth fight was on September 12th, 2009. Is that another 2-week break? Another 14-day break? But wait, let's go to his fifth fight. And these are professional fights, not amateur. The fourth fight he had was on September 12th, 2009. The fifth fight he had was on October 10th, 2009. That's a 28-day break, not a month again. And I could have kept going in his early career to where he had less than a month, less than 2 months of a break in between fights. Now, you could start the argument, well, they're not as good as top-level opponents. They're not as good as top-level opponents. Look, Kovalev barely took any damage in the Yard fight. Yard had success in 1 round, and Yard couldn't finish him. He hurt Kovalev by going to the body, and he couldn't finish him. He had 3 minutes of glory and couldn't finish him. Before that round, he was getting outboxed and barely landing anything. After that round, he got outboxed and eventually knocked out in the 11th round. Kovalev took minimal damage in that fight. Even though he was at a scare, that scare was only for 1 round. Yard had very little success through that fight. Had he gone to the body from the beginning, he probably would have won the fight. But as I stated, he had very little success. Thus, Kovalev took very little damage. So what is he recovering from? Nothing. Now, I personally have boxed. That's why I'm bringing up the amateurs. Now, you can make the argument, well, you're wearing 16-ounce gloves, and you're wearing headgear, excuse me, not 16, 12-ounce gloves, and you're wearing headgear. So you got 12-ounce gloves and headgear on, you can't get hurt. But wait, that argument goes to the fact of it's only 3 rounds and you're padded, right? And it's amateurs, so people can't be good. People can't be good in the amateurs, but what about the people who hang around? Like Lomachenko, who have over 300 fights. What about all the amateur fighters who have over 100 amateur fights? And a lot of time, these guys with those big buffed records are fighting guys with 20 fights, 30 fights or less. You could still get hurt in the amateurs. Mike Tyson, I believe to this day, still holds the quickest knockout in the amateur Golden Gloves. You gonna tell me the guy he knocked out didn't get hurt? Nah, he was just, laying on the ground. You can't get hurt in the amateurs. You're padded. You got gloves on. They're bigger. He was just, pretending to be asleep. Get out of here with this garbage. The bottom line is this. Kovalev, throughout his early career, has gone with less than 2 months of a break. Had he never had that, then I would be inclined to say, yeah, you know what? Maybe he wasn't used to the fast turnaround. There is an argument to be had that, it's been a few years since he's had short breaks in between fights. But then I have to bring up again, like Tyson Fury said, he likes fighting more active because now he feels in more shape all the time. He doesn't have to go to training camp to lose weight. He just stays in shape because he's always going to a training camp to get ready for a fight. Like I said, Andrew Ruiz had a fight 3 weeks before he got the news, had a fight 3 weeks prior to getting the news that he was going to fight Joshua. Basically, he walked out of a fight into another fight. Didn't even have a proper training camp to prepare for AJ, and he beat AJ. There are too many fighters through the history of boxing who have had short turnarounds and still won. Some lose, but they don't lose because of the short turnaround. They lose because the person they fought was better than them. Canelo is better than Kovalev at this point in Kovalev's career. They could fight another time, 100 times, 200 times. Every time Canelo fights Kovalev, Kovalev's going to look worse. It's just like Triple G. Triple G is aging bad. If Canelo was to go back to fight Triple G again, I have no doubts in my mind that Canelo wouldn't walk through him, possibly even knock him out. Same thing will happen with Kovalev. The more time that goes on, the worse Kovalev is going to look. Time is his enemy. And him saying in fact, I would be willing to bet. I would be willing to put money on it. Had Kovalev been given 4 months, 6 months to train, a half a year later from now, 4 months later from now, he would have got knocked out faster. It's not his training. It's his age. It's his lifestyle that has led him up to this path of where he's only 36 years old, but he looks like he's in his 40s. It's his lifestyle that has aged his body. He has weathered his body by the way that he has lived his life. There has always been rumors out there that he gets drunk on the weekend, drink, party. It doesn't matter how athletically good you are. It doesn't matter how good you are in set sport. It doesn't matter. Drinking, partying, doing drugs, all that's going to catch up to you. And when it does, you're going to see the aging start to happen. And you got to understand, aging in an athletic world is different than aging next to the normal person. You're going against people who aren't aging. You're going against people who might live the right lifestyle. You're going against people who are making their strength stronger and their weaknesses not weak anymore while you're abusing your body. That is Kovalev's problem. And the problem with aging is once it happens, it's damn near impossible to reverse. Thus, I come back to Mayweather. That is why Mayweather was so good for so long and so old in his life. Mayweather is always in shape, whether he's fighting or he's not fighting. Whether he's out with people flying around the world, it doesn't matter. He's always maintained physical shape. Thus, as he got older, his age didn't catch up with him. Because when you're constantly doing something, it's very easy to maintain. Yes, there will be dips as age happens. You will slowly go down, but it's a gradual dip. When you do things you're not supposed to, when you're trying to be physically at your best and you're doing things that make you go towards your worst, that's very hard to reverse when you're trying to reverse it after you see the signs of the effect. It's too little, too late. Kovalev will never be where he once was. Every month, every day, every hour, every minute, every second that ticks, he is getting worse because his aging has caught up with him and is catching up with him at an alarming rate. He is weathering in front of everybody's eyes, and that is why Canelo beat him. Canelo was very smart, and Canelo purposely picked Kovalev for a reason. He knew that was the weakest light heavyweight. He knew from watching what he watched that this would be the easiest way for him to win that title. And that's why he went for the old dog instead of the young ones in that division. The bottom line is, Kovalev, you lost because you lost. You lost to a better man on that day. Could you come back and beat Canelo? Highly unlikely. Like I stated earlier, I believe the more you stay in boxing, the worse you're going to look. Because your agent's caught up with you. You got to live the right life. You got to eat the right food. You got to do the right things if you want to maintain at that pinnacle, at that peak. Because when you don't and you get older, that's it. Simple human biology. And you, sir, didn't live the right life. But outside of that, I think I made my point again about how he's had quick turnarounds, especially on the come up. And let me touch on one more thing, because I know I'm rambling. I'm already at 12, 13 minutes. Here's the thing about it, okay? I'm trying to think how to bring this up. Okay, when you're training in training camp for a fight, you're practically fighting every day. You're fighting every day in your training camps. That's what you're doing. You're improving every day. You're getting ring rust that could have happened in your however many month break that you had off by having somebody attacking you. You're sharpening your tools. You're honing in on your skills. You're getting that ring rust off with the WD-40 of experience. You're getting back in there. The wheels are starting to move. And once they start to move, they start to turn. And when they turn, you're back in the rhythm. So with that being said, no fighter goes into a fight unless you're Sergio Martinez without going through fight after fight after fight after fight after fight after fight after fight. Sometimes in training camps, you could fight 5 different people in a day, sparring partners, in a day. So the idea that he wasn't ready for a fight is just beyond me. As somebody who has been in a boxing gym, as somebody who's had amateur fights, as somebody who has been around professional champions, as somebody who's been around professional coaches, as somebody who's lived in a gym for a certain part of their life, as somebody who's seen the life of boxing inside and doing it. There's no excuse, because from day one you're accustomed, you're bred, you're trained, you're evolved to fight every single day. That is your life, fighting, if you're serious about it, and it's something you do on a daily. And don't bring at me, well, Canelo's a high-level elite athlete. If you're worth the shit, you should be bringing in high-level training partners. In fact, I can't remember the fighter, but there was a fighter that just fought that brought in Sean Porter to help them get ready for a fight. Now think about that. Sean Porter's a world champion, and they brought him in to help them train. So he's fighting a world champion every day getting ready for his fight. You understand what I'm saying? You're still fighting people on a high level when you're at a high level getting ready for a fight, regardless of how many months you've had in between your quote-unquote professional fight. You're still fighting before that fight against people who are just as skilled or should be. So it's just ridiculous. It's bullshit. He's crying. It's always an excuse. Oh, the judges cheated me. I will agree with that one against the first time against Ward. Oh, he hit me in the nuts. He hit me in the nuts. He hit me in the nuts. Bruh, I'm not going to say that Ward didn't catch him with a couple of low blows. But he got hit in the stomach. He can't take the body blows, and that's what ended him. Ward walked through him in that second fight. If you took away the body blows, Ward was still dominating it. He comes up with excuses. He fought Alvarez. What did he say? Oh, I was dehydrated. He won the second fight. But I give that because Alvarez gave him way too much respect in the second fight. In the first fight, Alvarez went at him to kill him. In the second fight, he was hesitant to fire and allowed Kovalev to get in the rhythm of jabbing him to death. It's always an excuse. It is always an excuse. Take your L with a smile. Stop making excuses. Stop crying. Again, I'm going to end the video how I ended the last one. Champions are not just champions in winning. Champions can be champions in defeat. It's the way that you take that defeat. You wipe yourself off, you get up, come back stronger. Become a champion. Be a champion. Live like a champion. Stop crying like a bitch.